welcome to the My Inner Struggle podcast. I'm Laura.
Hi, I'm Julie.
This is episode 15.
It is. We're going into our 4th month, right, of podcasting.
So, yeah. What's going on?
Well, not too much. Got a new haircut.
Yeah, I like your
Thank
hair's
you.
looking really good
Yeah.
today.
I meant to tell you, yours is also looking nice. Yes. Did you do anything special?
Yeah, actually, I washed it today.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And why? Why would you have to do such a thing?
I washed it today because a bird pooped on my head this morning while I was walking to the bus stop.
And I told you, that's very luck. It's good luck.
It is.
It's
I'm
good luck.
waiting for that to come to me in abundance, actually.
Yeah.
But quite funny, actually. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Good times.
Good times.
But yeah, we're both having a great hair day. We should be pretty set for the day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So last week we talked about simplifying your life,
Mhm.
and I hope that was helpful. Again, obviously, if you're liking what we're sharing here, please give it a like on YouTube or Spotify and share it with a friend, because that really helps us drive our dream forward.
Yep.
And kind of, is a nice sort of way to give feedback that you're actually enjoying the material. And that's always nice to see. Right?
Yeah. It is nice.
Yeah.
And we also track it, because then we can kind of tell what resonates more with people,
Right, or what
through.
you wanna hear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So please like it, share it, subscribe, all the things. Do all the things.
So what are we talking about today?
So today we are talking about not starting your tomorrow with what's left from today. Right. So, my quote for the day, I'm going to just say right now, I'm going to get it out of the way. It says, you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Right. So I know that we've talked about, procrastination before. And if you have something to do that you just like, oh, I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it, but it has to get done. It's funny because I follow somebody on Instagram and I do follow you, but not in this instant. But she was saying how it took her 3 weeks. Like she was like, oh, every day I thought about this thing for 3 weeks, and every day it was like on the back of her mind. And she's like, it literally took me 48 seconds. 48 seconds, and for 3 weeks she dreaded it.
Right.
But
do you do that in any I kind of put you on a pedestal a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you are a big action person, and I am too. It's just different.
There's definitely things that I'm like,
what?
I knew you were going to ask me. And I don't know if I can think of something right this minute.
I've got one.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's not my laundry. I'm talking about the sheets and the towels and the blankets. And oftentimes, and this is one of those things, again, Mel Robbins, that counting down, launching into action. It really has helped me in that regard, because I will move the same laundry basket several times before I'm like, let me just do it, But, and again, it took 2 minutes to fold that?
Just to fold it.
But it's all those feelings associated with, I'm tired, I don't feel like it, And Mel Robbins is pretty, she's pretty adamant, okay, well, get over it, because you got to get it done, And so I have her voice, in my head after me about the laundry, but I procrastinate on stupid little things like that. Maybe not the big things,
It's funny because I just watched, obviously I follow her as well on Instagram, but and I don't know if you saw, she put a reel out there this morning, and it said, if you do one thing to make a difference, keep a promise to yourself. She said, whatever it is, you told yourself you're going to go for a walk, get up and go for a walk. Told yourself you're going to fold the laundry, right. Whatever it is. She's like, but if you really want to make a change for anybody else in the world, the first thing you need to do is, make the changes for yourself, and you need to keep a promise to yourself.
Okay. Well, I promised myself that I'm going to win $1 million today. Especially with the bird poop. I feel like I have a good chance.
That's perfect. I like it. So just remember the little people.
Of course. We need a new podcast studio, so I got you.
That'd be nice. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Yeah, I like it. I like where you're spending your winnings.
Anyway, so one of the things that came to mind when I was thinking about this, when we started, again, all of the topics are related.
Right.
And we're all working on personal development. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to this right now, really, right? There's something that interests you in improving yourself in some regard. Maybe you're not there yet, but you'll get there. And it intrigues you to listen to how people are changing or what steps they're taking and their successes, obviously.
I think it's also because we live it, right?
Right.
I mean, we're relatable in the fact that, we're not these like, multimillionaires yet.
Right.
Maybe after tonight. But we live it, so we live the crazy, moms, jobs, sports, kids, like we live it, and it's a struggle. It is a struggle from time. Like, I mean, look at my day today. It's been insane.
I know. And I was just going to say that too about, we were on the phone earlier today, and we were talking about like our different paths of growth,
right?
A little bit, right? Like, so I've been working on myself for a long time, and not that Julie hasn't been working on herself, but she's in a different like phase of personal growth. And so it's really cool because some of the things I may have experienced and you haven't yet, but you're like, oh, I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
And you're walking through it like as we're kind of going through it. And I think that's really valuable to people.
I agree. Yeah.
Some of the things you're sort of just being introduced to, and vice versa. Me too. Yeah.
And quite honestly, before we started this adventure, I never would have listened to or sat down and watched a podcast. Really? No, it's not, and not because I don't find it interesting or because I wanted to learn and better myself, but only because I was like, oh, do I even need help? I'm pretty amazing. Like, do I even need it? But
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, no, I just, and not that I feel like I'm amazing,
yes,
but
you are amazing. But
I think sometimes you just go through life and you're just like, kind of, it is what it is. And you don't think like, oh, is it though?
There's
like, could there be more?
I could feel better.
Right. Right. So, yeah. But,
so I think a big part of leaving yesterday where it is, or leaving, how did you say it again?
We said, don't start tomorrow with what's left from today.
Right. So there's lots of things, but on a feelings note, I would say letting go is a big thing. Whether it's something that we, a goal that we couldn't accomplish or that we didn't get done, or maybe it's our giant to-do list that we didn't get all of the things checked off on, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think I did a reel or something, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago on the podcast. I was talking about the your to-do list, right? So let go at the end of the day. Like, if you didn't get, sometimes we have this tendency like overload our to-do list.
Right.
And really we have to be realistic when we're creating them, because there are only so many hours in a day, and you do have to allow for interruptions, especially like in an office environment. There's meetings or you might get something thrown in your lap that's out of your control, but it is your responsibility to make sure that gets done. So we overachievers tend to overload our to-do lists, and at the end of the day, and I actually did it yesterday. I had everything in my planner. I wrote it down, and there's a good like 10 items that I didn't address yesterday. And you know what? I was looking at it at the end of the day because I do get myself set for the next day the night before. And I think that is a big factor in my success and my ability to achieve so many things each day, because I have a pretty full plate, as you do too. But I was like, okay, I'm looking at it, and I crossed off the ones that I was able to address. And then there's a handful left that I'm like, okay, tomorrow's a new day. And if I know already, because I kind of knew what my schedule was like.
Did you ever see Notting Hill?
No, I haven't.
Oh, with Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant?
No, but maybe this weekend.
Oh. He's like, whoopsie daisy. She's like, nobody's this then. I digress. No.
So I carried those items that were not, done onto the next day. And, it's funny because I called you and you're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I totally fucked up. And you're like, oh my God, what? And I'm like, the corsage for prom. That's tomorrow.
But look at us. We figured it out.
Yeah, well, I did figure it out. But it had been on my to-do list like for days. And at the end of each day, I'm like, shit, I can't call now. It's too late.
It's too late, yeah.
But I've been so busy. I kept kind of putting it off, but not on purpose, know.
Well, that's I'm sorry, but that is one of the definite like ways to set yourself up for tomorrow. Is agreed, like with the to-do list. Anything you don't get done, look at it and prioritize. Okay, what what do I need to make sure I tackle first thing? And then that becomes your top item on your tomorrow's to-do list. And I really like how you said, kind of let it go. Don't beat yourself up, give yourself grace, and I would say to the flip side of that is if like you have a really awesome day and you're going to bed and you're on cloud 9, like carry that forward, carry it into the next day. Yeah. Be like, oh my God, I was so amazing yesterday. I rocked it. I got, all of this done. I connected with this and this. Like, what am I going to do today? And I think that just, instantly when you wake up, you're like already feeling good.
And on the flip side, if you do struggle from like mental illness, right? So I've struggled with depression and anxiety for a really long time. I am in a really good place. I'm taking care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally. I've let go of a ton of toxic relationships, over the last few years in my life. And so I'm feeling really, really good at this point, but I've definitely been in that spot. So if you are someone that struggles with that and, maybe you didn't get a ton of stuff done, be grateful and take note of the things that you did. If you got up today and took a shower and, didn't overeat or didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't, celebrate those and carry that with you to the next day, because those deserve the same kind of applause as a giant to-do list does.
Absolutely.
That's all you have to give. That's okay. Give yourself grace, but take action tomorrow. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's hands down very, very good advice.
Oh, thanks.
Hands down.
Not up.
Nope, not well. I mean, I guess we go to praise them up, put them down, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I'm like, man,
no, I mean, all of the things, the tips, is reflect on your day, which we talked about, and prioritize, do that to-do list, like set an alarm and get up,
Okay, so real quick, mini, like we did a whole episode on morning routines.
Yeah.
And at the time, and that was probably 2 months ago, maybe.
It's been a bit. Yeah, it's been a bit.
If you didn't watch it, flip it back because she's like a master. But I struggled. I used to get up even like, so Evelyn is almost 9.
Mm-hmm.
So before I was pregnant with her for several years, and then after I had her, basically up until 5 years ago when my whole life changed
Fell
and
apart,
I got divorced and everything, I was up by 5 a.m. and at like a, CrossFit or boot camp or whatever in the morning. So I did do that for a long time. And then, life changes, things, whatever. But I have to say, little update from since then, I have joined the 5 a.m. club for the last 2 months.
Do you find yourself accomplishing more? Like, are you feeling better having that routine?
Well, yes. And my routine is still not even exactly where I want it.
It's a work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah. But getting up earlier, it's like that magic hour.
Yeah.
Before everybody is up in the house. And even if, Matthew has been getting up early as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just to talk to his girlfriend before school. But,
young love.
On the flip side, like he's up, I can kind of hear him like talking and stuff like that. I come down, I turn the coffee on, mm-hmm. I do all these things. Morning meditation for a few minutes, and you get up, you make your bed, you're, like in the groove. And that's actually one thing that I've said to, both my employees for a long time and previous jobs. If you can do anything in the morning,
make your bed.
Because you've already accomplished something, and you've only been out of bed for a few minutes. And there's nothing worse than coming in at the end of the long day and seeing your bed a mess, the dog's laying in it, and all this stuff. But it just feels better when you've made your bed. It's like your first accomplishment of the day. Yeah.
There was a commencement speech at a college, and it was like a sergeant major or somebody pretty high up in the military. And that was his takeaway to the college students. He's like, if I can tell you anything to be successful, the most successful people, the first thing they do in the morning, or one of the first things they do in the morning, is they make their bed. Because again, to your point, you've already accomplished something.
Right.
You've already,
fuels, Yeah. So I was talking with a client of mine, and we talk every morning, like clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
8:30 we talk, and I do a lot of coaching for him,
mm-hmm.
kind of in a way. And he was saying this morning how he wasn't feeling that great physically. He was just kind of blah, and he's going. He's also he's a business owner and managing a lot, and you can go too hard and get burnt out.
Of course. Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I got these things that are they're massive tasks. And I said, like I would say to my kids or to you or to anyone else, start with something small and manageable. So whatever it is, like to get crossed off your list, like the low hanging fruit, because it gives you more momentum to keep going on the bigger things. And it really does. It's all psychological, but it really does.
Well, I think that goes back to our podcast last week with the simplifying your life, right? Yes. What did we say? One of the things that you can do is to set realistic expectations. And I think we use just a weight loss because it's an easier, visual, but like, okay, you want to lose 100 pounds. Well, let's start with 10 and then cross it off. Chunk. Right. Yeah. Right. And I mean, I think that's.
I just started hands all of a sudden. I feel like kind of free. Like
I think it's because it's not 9 million degrees in here.
But so anyway, so I've been rocking my morning routine.
That's awesome.
Has really changed things. And then also like on the flip side, like I feel more accomplished. I get up, I have more time. I still have the same amount of stuff, and maybe even I'm inventing more probably in that time. But Matthew will sit and has breakfast and coffee with me in the morning.
Yeah, that's nice.
So we have like, I don't know, a good 10-15 minutes together that it's just me and him. And then, and then then the first wave leaves and then I get Evelyn up and then her and I have some time together too. Yeah. And in between those things, I'm working on things, but, it's really great. And I'm not waking up with all the bullshit from yesterday and starting fresh. And it really does make a difference, about how you feel about the day, period.
Yeah. Well, you're not, if you're waking up with all of this dread, to start, it's just, your day's just going to go downhill instantly,
obviously if you're waking up dreading your day, there's something else that needs to be addressed as well.
Yeah.
But, and that'll never change until you make a change.
Right.
Or you think about it differently.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Two options. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple of different just ways that maybe you can prep for your tomorrow. Yes, you can pick out your clothes the night before, especially if you have something like big you're going to, like an event, a breakfast, a meeting, anything. It's funny because Claire actually picks her clothes out for the whole week. On Sundays, she lines them up in order of what she's going to wear. She picks out everything and they're all hung up. And
I'm not surprised. But I actually just got Evelyn this organizer that does just that in her closet.
Does it say the days of the week in it?
Yeah. It's one of those, it's like canvas kind of or whatever. And it has like probably cardboard inside of it to make it like stiff, right? And then it's got the pockets for the days of the week. And then it has the names or the days of the week that you can slide in there. And she like loves it.
Yeah.
We just got it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no. Claire used to have one when she was probably Evelyn's age. Yeah. But she still doesn't. And then she you know what I mean? And it's a simple thing. But
you probably do the same thing in your head. Like I kind of do. If I know that especially if I'm going to an event, I'm like, okay, and especially networking, I'll see some of the same people at the same events, and I don't want to wear the same thing dress every time somebody sees me or whatever. So I'm kind of like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm going to that one.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And of course we have our favorites that we but that helps planning ahead.
Yep. Yeah. So plan ahead with you can plan ahead with what you're going to wear, plan out your breakfast the next day. Like if milk doesn't always agree with you, then don't drink milk, or whatever, but plan it out. And then, offload your brain, which I think is a lot of our like to-do list. Okay, well, this is, we didn't get this done. We need to, pop it on for tomorrow and whatever priority it needs to be. A big one that I struggle with is you're supposed to, so let me ask you, do you scroll through your phone until you like roll over to go to sleep?
I don't actually.
You don't?
I don't.
Nice.
So when I was not going to bed as early and I was texting you late and she was like snoring, I still was up like way later than that.
Okay.
And so now, since I've been doing this 5 a.m. thing, I'm in bed. I try to be in bed between 9 and 10. And there are some days that I literally just can't. There's just too much
going on.
Yeah. Kids, whatever. But my goal is to hit my pillow at 10. And I actually have been leaving my phone on the other side of the room charging so that I have to get up to shut off my alarm. There are some days that, I don't, but I try not to keep scrolling because all day I'm paying attention to all the things, like we have a considerable audience, like on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. And people are sending messages or they're commenting and things like that. And so, we've talked about this before, like we're kind of at the point where we're ready to hire somebody to like do the social media stuff.
Right.
I don't want to spend my time, not necessarily, like as a business owner, you have to sort of plan things out, right?
Yeah.
So that you can make the most of use of your time. So necessarily if I'm posting like a meme or something, it doesn't mean that it's happening live time then.
Right.
Those are sort of planned out in advance. Not every one of them. Sometimes they're
spur of the moment. Yeah.
But things like that. So like I don't want to be in my phone anymore at that time because I'm already in it so much and replying to clients and doing all sorts of things. So I have actually, this is I guess a big growth of mine because I did do that for a
long time. Yeah. I'm super guilty of that. Like I will just scroll, and usually mine is like, recipes or, it's not always like social media stuff. It's a lot of Pinterest stuff because I like to, just look at stuff. But they do say 30 minutes before you fall asleep, you should be turning off all screens. But so that's a big one I need to work on because I don't do that. And because that folds right into getting a good night's sleep. And I know like the blue light of the screen, it's so bad for your eyes and it gets you headaches and, it doesn't allow your brain to properly shut down. And, so that's such
what about
key.
Your kids? Do your kids take their phones with them, like in their rooms, like to bed?
They do.
Okay. So my two older ones do. And I know that Emily's looking at it until she goes to sleep. But we've talked about this before. So Evelyn, she doesn't have a phone, but she's using like an old phone of mine as like
an iPad, or an iPod or whatever it was. Yeah,
I feel weird saying iPod at this point because do they even exist anymore? Do they still make them, like new ones? I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
She's using that so she can talk to her friends. And so there's no social media or anything like that. But she'll watch her Netflix shows that she watches and stuff, and she can FaceTime with her friends. So the big argument that we had was she's like, I don't understand. Why can't I just charge my phone in my room at night? And I'm like, well, I think we need to earn that trust that you're not going to be
on it all night. Yeah.
Because she totally would.
Yeah.
Like, she absolutely would. So we park our phones right next to each other on my dresser on the other side of the room so that like, well, one, I'm not looking, but she's down.
So she's not looking either.
Yeah. So that's something else. I think actually Mel Robbins says she puts her phone. I'm sure she has a ginormous house with a ginormous space, but she puts her phone and her alarm clock even in the bathroom, like in her master bathroom. So she has to get up and shut that off, but that she's not disturbed by any of the, even if it's on silent,
that lights up
stuff like all night.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So, so she actually does that. So I was like, oh, that's interesting too. I don't know if I could, I mean, not that my house isn't that big, so it's like the same distance.
So my alarm clock is Jeremy, so I'll let him know he has to sleep in the bathroom. Just put his, I was just going to say, just bring his pillow to the tub.
Yes.
All right. Well, sorry.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good stuff. But, I mean, just, it can be something simple like the to-do list, planning out for tomorrow, planning out your outfit, reflecting on your day. A big one is, like we said, what didn't work for you, what did work for you, and maybe just build on that. And if something triggers you to kind of not have a great day, then let's make sure we're not doing it.
On the flip side too, because on your next morning, after we've let go of that stuff the day before, on the next morning, I also kind of started not being on my phone first thing in the morning. So that was another thing that I had been kind of like researching, and Mel Robbins had mentioned that too. Like, and it's a big thing, like with business owners. I found myself, especially like when we post a podcast, I'm like, I'm excited. I want to see, who's watching or how many views we got or whatever. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not really texting good morning anymore.
I did notice that.
I'm not, and it's not just you. I'm not on my phone right away.
Yeah.
And it's been a hard practice because I want to check social media. I want to check all the things. And I'm like, no, I need to focus on myself, do whatever reading. In the morning when you get up is a really good output time. So what I would like my routine to be, and especially as school is ending and the schedules are changing again, is to write in the morning in the quiet.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something to consider too, as you're starting your day, not with the bullshit from yesterday.
Right.
Yes.
It's so funny. I thought about you this morning because I was up. I was up really early. I was up at like 5:02.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was up.
Yeah, I was. But I was like, you know what? Let me go downstairs and I'm gonna get a cup of coffee. And I was like, I'm just gonna sit, because Jeremy was up. He was getting ready, but both kids are still asleep. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, let me just sit here. And then I was like, oh, let me just quickly fold the dryer. So then I was like, oh, let me put the wash in the dryer. And so then I'm sitting there and all I'm hearing is the stupid dryer. And I was like, well, why did I do that? There goes my quiet morning.
So if you want, you're more than welcome to ride over and
switch your laundry for you. Yeah.
And then you can go.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh man. I was like, oh.
So what are we going to talk about next week?
Next week we are talking about taking responsibility.
I fucking love this. I told Julia a story today that I really want to talk about.
You have to save it
before I talk about it. Yeah, taking responsibility, period. Like with yourself, your actions, your words. I think it's really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like so that we know, and share it with a friend. That helps us greatly. This is really growing and it's really exciting. And are you laughing at me right now?
I am, but it's like a love laugh. It's a love laugh. Absolutely. Also, if you have anything to contribute, like if you have something that really works for you, anything that works for you to be able to kind of like wind down at the end of the night and really start your tomorrow fresh, let us know. Tell us what works for you. I mean, we're here to, help, right? And create a world that's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're not the gossipy type. We're not going to judge.
No, we're not, which is good.
No.
Nobody likes that.
Yeah. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you're watching us. Follow My Inner Struggle on Facebook, Instagram, and check out the blog on myinnerstruggle.com. We will see you next week as we start taking responsibility.
Bye-bye.